Hello everybody and welcome to another board game discussion video. Today's video is all about socializing while you're playing board games. That said, if you haven't done so already, please take a look at all of my social media pages. In addition, you can take a look at my Patreon page. On all of those, you'll be able to talk and interact with me in all sorts of cool different ways, and you can do a bunch of cool stuff like voting on new videos and a lot of other neat things. That said, moving right along into this, what do I mean by socializing during board games? Well, essentially, when I started playing board games, one of the biggest reasons that I did was because I wanted to become more social. I was really shy, really reserved, all that kind of thing, and board games were a way for me to sort of put myself out there. It was something that I enjoyed in terms of I love playing games, I love thinking logically and strategically and all that kind of stuff, and in addition, it allowed me to be social with other people, and it was something that I hadn't really gotten to do up until that point in my life. And that said, relatively recently near my house, we opened up a new FLGS. Well, the royal we, as in a new one opened. And so that means that we got a lot of new players who have been longtime board gamers that I had never met before, just because it happened to be that the store is closer to them. And some of these people, or at least a decent number of them, seem to be not antisocial, but when they play games, they're like, I am here to play games. And this is especially true when I have hosted some board game nights with some of the newer people. It's not a bad thing, it's just that I've noticed that some people are a little bit less outgoing than others. Again, it's not a bad thing, and so that's kind of why I'm thinking, like, are you here to game or are you here to talk? And for me, board gaming is very much a social activity, even if you're not playing social style games like Werewolf or The Resistance or things like that. But at the same time, I can see the appeal of having it as strictly a strategic and logical thinking experience where I'm here to use my brain. And I think of games like Diplomacy and Twilight Imperium and some of these like heavier, really big thinking style games. For me personally, that just doesn't sit right with me, and sure, there are some games where, especially the larger ones, I do Twilight Struggle whenever I can, Twilight Imperium several times. I sort of mentally prepare myself and think this is going to be a long haul, this is going to be a big game. I gotta make sure that I stay focused. But at the same time, I always try to have at least a little bit of side conversation. Not too much, because I don't like being distracted from the game, but I do like having fluid conversation of, you know, just a very basic level, like, oh yeah, we did this thing, and we went over and we saw this stuff. That said, I have had some people where they talk so much that it detracts from the game, and that's sort of the other side of the coin that I really don't like, because then I'm sitting there kind of like, okay, it's your turn. And especially I've done videos on like people not to play games with, and somebody who is having external conversations, whether they're on their phone texting or actually on their phone at the table, talking to other people at different tables across the room, all of that kind of stuff can be extremely frustrating, because I'm sitting there like, it's your turn to go and you don't even know what's happening type of thing. But if the people at the table playing the game are engaged in a conversation and just sort of chatting back and forth and that kind of thing, not only do I not see that as a detriment, but I see it as a huge plus of board gaming in general. And that's why I've done videos on board games that have become video games, so like apps, like Small World and things like that, that have become super popular. But I'm like, you have taken away a big portion of what it means to me, at least as a gamer, what it means to me to play board games, and that is to go out and talk to people and have a good time with it. But as always, I'm really curious what you guys have to say. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Again, I just wanted to sort of kickstart discussion and ask what you guys have to say. What do you think about socializing while you're playing board games? Are you somebody like me where you're okay with table talk, but you know, you realize that there should be a line in the sand somewhere? Are you somebody who is like hyper focused and all about doing the strategy and just thinking and having nothing else going on? Or are you somebody who's really there just as more of a social event, and board games are sort of an auxiliary aspect to it that you really couldn't care less about, and it's just sort of like, oh yeah, I guess I'll play that game, but I mostly just want to interact with people? I'm really curious what you guys have to say about this, and does it irk you? Do you not care about it? All of that kind of stuff. Please let me know anything and everything you guys think about it in the comments below. Again, you guys know I love hearing from you. That said, thank you so very much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.